Hello everyone and welcome back to another video on the channel. Today we're going to be continuing my 2023 Sundance Film Festival coverage with Shortcomings, directed by Randall Park, starring Justin H. Min and Sherry Cola, which I have to say that Sherry Cola might just be the greatest name of all time. But I was very excited for this film for many different reasons, but mainly this is the directorial debut of Randall Park, which if I show his face here, you probably recognize him. He's a great comedic actor in a bunch of TV series and a bunch of movies, including Ant-Man the Wasp and WandaVision, which he's great in those, but he's such a great actor and such a great talent now that he's directing this film that's based off of a graphic novel of the same name, which really dives into the Asian American experience, especially when it comes to relationships and a bunch of the different political aspects of being an Asian American in America. And it's a very interesting film that I really enjoyed. So essentially this movie follows Ben and MIKO, who are an Asian American couple living in the Bay Area, and their relationship is being very strained at the moment. And so MIKO decides to take this 3-month internship in New York City, so the relationship is on hold. Ben is stuck in this city of the Bay Area with his best friend Alice, and he decides to kind of explore other relationships while also stressing about what's going on with MIKO in New York City. So let's start off with the more conflicting parts of this movie for me, which is the main character Ben, played by Justin H. Min. And I will say that I love his performance. He does a great job in this film, but he's inherently a very frustrating character to watch because, well, he's an asshole. He's the worst person in the world. Every decision that he makes, I disagree with. Everything that he says, for the most part, I disagree with. Yet, the frustrating thing is that he is also, like me, an Asian American aspiring filmmaker who also happens to be a manager at a movie theater. I have a lot in common with this guy, and I think that a lot of people will find some things to have in common with him despite disagreeing with everything that he does. And the part that I kind of relate to him is the fact that, you always feel like you're doing the wrong thing. You always feel like you say the wrong thing when it comes to relationships, when it comes to friendships, when it comes to really any sort of interpersonal relationship that you have in your life with anybody in your life. You always feel like you're doing the wrong thing. And in this case, I personally think that he does do the wrong thing in every single situation, which makes following his character extremely frustrating at times. But especially after the movie ends and I listened to the Q&A and I fell in love with this cast and with Justin H. Min being this character, he has such a likability and watchability to his performance that even though everything that he does is so infuriating at every single moment in this movie, and I can't stress that enough, it is so infuriating following this character, he's never unwatchable. He's never to a point where you absolutely despise him. And maybe maybe you will despise him, maybe you will hate him right off the bat, and maybe you won't have any sort of connection with him. Like I said, I have a lot of odd comparisons with, relatability with this character, but at the same time, he's so enjoyable to watch on screen that you can kind of put aside all those things, and he's surrounded by all these supporting characters that are so lovable. Like Alice, for instance, played by Sherry Cola, she is such a delight in this film. Honestly, if she wasn't in this film, or if she was played by an actress that doesn't have as much of a charisma, as much likability that she has, and her chemistry with Justin H. Min in this film, I don't think this movie would have worked at all. I think that she is a very integral part of the film. She is hilarious. There's so many funny jokes that she makes at the expense of Ben's character, or the other way around, Ben's jokes that he makes at the expense of her character. And their friendship really does feel natural and real. Even though they have a lot of differences, they argue a lot, they kind of bicker back and forth, and they're kind of bad for each other in some ways. I just love their relationship, and I think the writing in that is good enough to, like I said, where a lot of these things are frustrating to watch on screen and you're kind of cringing in your seats a lot of the time, it's still watchable and entertaining because of the talented cast that's working in this film. There's also a lot of great supporting actors in this film, like the actress who plays MIKO. I think that she's very good in this film. And of course, you have Jacob Batalon from the Spider-Man movies, who makes a very funny Spider-Man joke in this film, kind of rounding out the other people who work at the movie theater. And there's a lot of other supporting actors in this film because, Ben's character is kind of going through life. He's going through the motions. He's meeting new people. He's going out with them. He's experiencing some things that are either great or weird or go bad or just is straight up bizarre when it comes to one character who ends up working at the theater with him, which, God, that was so hard to watch at times, but it was always interesting to see how he reacted and how he just kind of was around all these different types of people. And when it comes to the politics of the Asian American experience that is explored in this film, I actually found it very funny and very entertaining. The way that it's explored in this film was very true. It was very just authentic in a lot of different ways. And I think that there's a lot of funny jokes, especially when it comes to the fake movie within this movie that's kind of making fun of Crazy Rich Asians. I thought that bit was very funny. Stephanie Hsu actually plays the actress in that that film, which is just wonderful. It's always wonderful to see her on screen ever since Everything Everywhere All at Once. And of course, it's commenting on the sensationalization of, those type of stereotypes that are portrayed in that film, or, things like Shang-Chi. You get to see Asian Americans that are always playing people who are great at kung fu, always great at karate, or always, very rich, or always very kind of flashy and sparkly, and you never get to see them on the ground level. You never get to see them in a very calm and simple movie about interpersonal relationships like this film is. And the movie kind of points that out and says that you don't want to disvalue those films like Shang-Chi or Crazy Rich Asians, because we're getting Asian American representation in film, which is amazing to see. I love seeing all that. But this quiet little independent film is kind of taking this festival by storm, and this cast and how lovable everybody is, and just the love and care that was put into this film, and of course into that original work in the Shortcomings comics, is just wonderful to see this type of movie premiering at a festival and getting as much love as it did with that audience at Sundance. So there's a lot to love about this film. It's very, very funny. I love the comedy in it. I love the performances in it. And although you're following a main character that is inherently and, purposefully frustrating in this film, I think by the end of it, there's a hope of change. And this movie is about the fear of change and trying to figure out exactly what you want to do with your life, and kind of being afraid of things changing to a point where you kind of stick yourself in a position where you're unable to change because of that, because you're forcing yourself to stay exactly where you are, and you're not able to grow from the mistakes that you have made. And I love how this movie explores that for this main character, and he goes through a great arc. The last shot is wonderful, and this movie was just great. I really did love it. And so, like I've said in my other Sundance reviews, if you're from the future and you've seen this movie either released in theaters or on streaming services or wherever you guys have watched this film, what do you guys think of it? So leave a comments down below of all your thoughts on Shortcomings. I'm very curious to hear all you guys' thoughts on that as well. And of course, like I said, I've done a bunch of reviews for Sundance. I did Magazine Dreams, which I really loved, and I did this one movie starring Daisy Ridley that I don't want to say the title for out of fear of, YouTube suppressing the video because of that name of that movie, which I also love that movie. And also Infinity Pool, and I'm going to do some reviews for Cat Person and some other films as well. So thanks everybody for watching this video. Like I said, subscribe to the channel, leave a like, comment down below, and I hope to see you all in my next one.